Welcome to the First and 30 podcast. This is episode 75. I'm your host, Antonino, the Podfather, and this week we are keeping the chains moving with a special guest, the best of the best. Say less. That's right. We have Jess in the house representing. Thanks for coming in, Jess.
The honor is all mine. Thank you for having me. I'm a big fan, and I'm happy to be here.
Oh, man. Well, I'm happy to have you here. And of all days, today is Halloween. Halloween, One of my favorite holidays out there. I'm currently dressed as a psychiatric patron, over here. I just got out the ward because I'm a Bengals fan. We lost to the Jets last week. You know, I'm in the slammer doing time. It's not a good time. What were you for Halloween? What are you going to be for Halloween? What's the plan?
All right. Well, per usual, we have a lineup. So last week at a friend's Halloween party was holy guacamole. It was a fun play on words. Tonight I'm going to do a theme with my dog where we're both like luau girls. And then I might bring the holy guacamole back out for another party. We'll see.
I like it. And you guys are probably wondering, Antonino, what got into you bringing Jess on the show? Well, it all started at a Halloween party last weekend. And yes, Jess was at the party wearing a dress. Yes, I'm rhyming again. And that dress had avocados on it. And we got to talking, and she was dropping some knowledge on me. We were talking about fantasy football. I think she was playing Stump the Chump because she knew everything about the fantasy team, the players, and who to put in. So I was like, you know what? I got an idea. Jess, you're coming on the pod, and here she is. So thank you again for being here. I'm so excited. What do you say? Should we jump in?
Yeah, let's do it. That was a great intro. I just want to say I'm not an expert, but I do play fantasy football.
I love it. And that's all we ask for here. Let's have some fun. For those who don't know, this is 30 rapid fire minutes. We have 4 downs, and we keep the chains moving, and we go quick. All right. So we're going to start with first down right here. We're going to talk about your Steelers. That's right. Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Yes, I threw up in my mouth a little bit, but that's okay. Pittsburgh Steelers fan, how did you become, you really got to go off track in life to become a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. How did this happen? Please help me understand.
Black and yellow. I was born into it.
Oh no, we all make
mistakes. Once you were born a Steelers fan, you're always, no matter where you live, even though I'm not in Pennsylvania anymore, I did grow up in a great era. We had Heinz Ward, Palomalu, Jerome Bettis, the Bus, Roethlisberger. I remember doing bake sales back in the day, 06, 09, whenever they got those 2 Super Bowl wins. So after that, lifelong fan.
Wow. Okay. Very nice. I mean, all those names give me nightmares, pun intended, Halloween edition. All those players give me nightmares being a Bengals fan, obviously. But let's talk about the Steelers a little bit. I have you here. I have the resident Steelers fan. I want to know, you guys are on a 2-game losing streak. You lost to my Bengals. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, that hurt.
You just lost to the Packers. It was a close game at first. You guys had those hideous jerseys on, absolutely hideous jerseys on. But now you're 2-game losing streak, and you got the Colts at home and the Chargers and the Bengals again. That's a tough lineup. Are you worried? Or are the Steelers going to be okay?
I'm not going to lie. I am worried about the Steelers. Full transparency, the last few years we have choked. Like either we've made it just to the playoffs and choked. It's been a while since like our team's made it far, And with Flacco now on the Bengals, hey, mad respect. That was a good game. The 2 40-year-old quarterbacks, what are you going to do? But then last week, so whenever they played Green Bay, it was just past my bedtime and I truthfully didn't watch it. But I can tell you that game against the Bengals hurt. It did.
I believe in it's probably a good thing you went to sleep when you did, because Pittsburgh started strong. They ended up losing to the Packers, unfortunately, for all the fans in Pittsburgh. And I gotta ask, we said Aaron Rodgers getting older. Are you a fan of Aaron Rodgers? Do you support him wholeheartedly?
I'm going to be nice, and I'll just say I don't know, but I'm not going to say why. I could get into the nitty gritty, but ultimately, like, he's just our quarterback for now, you know?
Yeah, I know he does this little ayahuasca. I don't know how to
Yeah.
pronounce it. He does these crazy trips. Big backstory there. But let's say some crazy, the AFC North, very scary place. All the teams are doing pretty bad. The Ravens are picking up a little bit of steam. Let's say the Steelers somehow make the playoffs. They get to the Super Bowl. Are you going to the Super Bowl?
Absolutely. Like if they make it to the Super Bowl, I will be there. I already know time, place, location. It's in beautiful Santa Clara, California.
Dang.
Like the weather's gonna be nice with my schedule. I can make it work. And then of course Bad Bunny's gonna be the halftime performance. So I would be there in a heartbeat for my team.
Wow, that's impressive. I know I don't know what the tickets cost nowadays, probably in the thousands, but hey, if your team's there, that might be once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime.
For all of our sake, we hope the Steelers don't make the Super Bowl, but I digress.
If the Bengals are there, will you go?
So I went to Cincinnati the last time they made the Super Bowl a few years ago because I wanted to be there for the parade if they won the game. I wanted to be part of that all week long. They didn't win. I didn't go to a parade, and it was a very sad drive all the way back home. So
yeah, I bet.
Yeah, very sad. But let's move on to second down. Again, this is fast-paced here. We got second down, and we have some frightening fantasy football. Yes, this is the time of year where your fantasy team is going through it right now. You probably got injuries, the waiver wire, slim pickings. Good luck. Good night. So I got to ask, what's your fantasy team name, and how's your fantasy football team doing?
So my fantasy football league is all girls. So we have some funny names, but also like my family, I am sharing it with them. So I just went with the classic Jrudes. That's my handle on a lot of things. And we lost last week. I was on a 2-week winning streak, but then lost last week, and the girl crushed me with over 200 points. So what can I say?
Over 200 points. It's hard to top that. So I think it's
yeah.
not you, it's them. You know how that goes.
Right.
But Jrudes, you might go viral. We have a big listenership here, so she just threw it out there, folks. Jrudes, find her on socials, fantasy, what have you. So here we go. I need to know who's on your team. Let's dig deep a little bit. How about the chain movement helps you and your team? Let's see what we could do here. Let's start with your quarterback. Who do you got?
All right. So my quarterback, and I'm sticking to him, Bo Nix.
Bo Nix. He started.
Bo Nix.
I think he's picking up some steam here. Yeah.
I was between him and Jordan Love at first. Like all the good quarterbacks went. I picked running backs and wide receivers first. But hey, those are two great young quarterbacks that I think are very up and coming. And Bo Nix, after week 7, with those 39 points, sheesh, I dropped J-Love, and I'm just sticking to Bo Nix.
Okay, Bo Nix it is, the Broncos stampede. All right, let's move on to running back. That's arguably the most important position in any fantasy football team. So who do you have in your 2 running back spots?
My running backs have been a challenge. So I've been loyal to Derrick Henry. I do have him still.
You should.
Did okay last night. Yeah. He's a legend. And then I picked up Vittles for the Chargers.
Yeah, Los Angeles
the backup to Hampton, I think, right? Yeah.
That's a heck of a pickup right there, because from what I remember last week, he went off.
He did. He helped me out last week, despite, the 200 points. Like I still ended up with like 120 something. So
all right,
he helped.
You got the smarts. You're doing the waiver wire pickups the right way. I don't know how you're not undefeated. Maybe you have really bad receivers. Let's go to receivers. Who you got there?
Okay, so for wide receivers in my starting lineup, I have Higgins. You're welcome. And since Flacco's joined, he was one of my bench, but since Flacco is now the quarterback, I have him starting. And then Kate Allen from LA as well.
All right, so I think you are poised for a run here. I don't think we've heard the last of your team and the playoff run that you will eventually go on. I think they're strong in all positions right there. Those are the main ones. Let's do one last one. Tight end. You must have a really bad tight end. That has to be, right?
This is what I've been waiting for you to ask me. So I have T. McBride from Arizona.
He's a beast.
I'm so happy I picked him up.
He's a beast.
Actually, I started with him. My bad, my wording. But I started with T. McBride not knowing his potential, and from week one, I've been loyal. Then a little bit later on, I picked up Jay Ferguson for Dallas, and he's also a beast, except for last week. Kind of let me down.
Okay, I'm not seeing how you lost any games this season. I gotta look
Right.
into, maybe there's some cheating and fraud going on in your fantasy league. Maybe it's rigged. I gotta
I'm not
look at
gonna lie.
this.
These girls know what they're doing.
Wow.
They are good.
Jeez. Well, we're gonna have to look
Mhm.
into that. Well, let's quickly go through and give a few key injuries that people should know about in fantasy football. Let's talk about the most gruesome injury that we saw from the whole entire weekend, and that is Cameron Skatte-boo, aka Cam Skatte-boo, aka Scat. So Scat, the new running back from Arizona State, playing with the Giants, went down, hip drop
Yeah.
tackle. Player on the other team went right down on his ankle. You saw that thing pointing the
Mhm.
opposite way. My goodness, turn away from your screens. What do you think? He's done for the year. Who's going to fill
Mhm.
in for him?
Yeah, I felt like up to at least 6 months. Well, the predictions, Tyrone Tracy, everyone's saying to pick him up. I'm also wondering, I did some reading. His name is Devin Singularity. Did I say that
Yeah,
right?
Devin Singletary. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know him. Yeah.
Singletary. I was, it could be a toss up, but yeah, like people were quick to pick up Tyrone Tracy in my league, so I unfortunately didn't.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. That's the worst part. The guy goes down, the first stringer, second and third
Mhm.
string, they're probably going to split carries, and you end up with a guy who you don't even know what his name is, but now everyone's picking him up in
Mhm.
fantasy and the free agent are just hoping to get lucky, and that's what it's all about. You hope you get a spark. Tyrone Tracy poised for a lot of carries. I would try and pick him up if he's available in anyone's league that's listening. But we have more running back injuries. Yes, it's a slaughter fest, folks. It's Halloween and butchering and slaughtering, and these guys are going down left and right. All right, so you got Quinshawn Judkins from the Browns. He hurt his shoulder. Saquon
Mhm.
Barkley hurt his groin. I guess
Mm.
he went for hundreds of yards and was going off last week, and he hurt his groin. Tell me, what do you know about
Mhm.
Saquon Barkley there? I know, I think, if I'm seeing this correctly, are you wearing a Penn State hoodie?
I
Wow.
am vintage Penn State
Jeez.
again from Pennsylvania. So loyalty runs deep to PSU. As a former Penn State player, Saquon, I've always loved him. He was also on my opponent's team last week, and I can't be mad. But that's why he crushed me. Um, I read somewhere it was like his best game on record, and he didn't even finish the game. He had to end the game early against the Giants,
Mhm.
yet scored. It was high 30s in
Yeah.
fantasy. So my heart goes out for him. I'm hoping it's just a 1 week bye that worked out perfectly with their schedule, and he'll be back.
Yeah, luckily for him, they were up by a lot at that point. I think they were just playing
Mhm.
it safe. He shouldn't miss any time. A couple more running backs, one of which could miss time. Isaiah Pacheco with the Chiefs. He
Mhm.
sprained his MCL at the very tail end of that game. They were also up big. I'm surprised he was still in the game. A name you could see out there in free agency, Kareem Hunt. Yep, he's back. He's in the Chiefs lineup. He should get the starting tote of the carries. So Kareem Hunt, keep an eye on that. Man, I have a long list here. Rashid Shaheed from the Saints. My
Mhm.
goodness, like I don't know. Rashid going down, you might have who would fill in for him. I'm trying to think of the Saints. They suck this year.
Well, I do also have Olave as
Okay.
one of my wide receivers, so I was hoping that would give him a little bit more playing time. But honestly, I think Olave's been doing better than
Yeah.
Rashid. So.
Yeah, I know they have a little bit of a quarterback situation to figure out down there in New Orleans, but
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of injuries, but luckily we got your roster. Great players here. Might copy some of these if I can. We're all curious to see how you do the rest of the way. We'll make sure to keep everyone updated there. We're gonna move straight into third down. So, as many of you were watching the Sunday football games last week, there were so many blowouts. Like, talk about some of the low-key worst week of football of all time. I'm going to go real quick through some of these games. The Miami Dolphins destroyed the Falcons 34-10. Colts beat the Titans 38-14. Broncos annihilated the Cowboys. Cowboys defense, leaky as can be. annihilation. The Buccaneers win 23-3 over the Saints. The Ravens destroy the Bears. That was disgusting. The Buffalo Bills 40-9 over the Panthers. The list goes on and on. The Patriots killed the Browns. Out of all these blowouts, the Eagles killed the Giants. Of all these blowouts, which one did you have your eye on? Which one was the worst?
I think the one that frustrated me the most had to be Bucs versus Saints. Just the quality of the ball was not there. So many sloppy turnovers. I remember saying at one point, "What is this, high school ball?" I felt like my parents. But for real, it was a low-scoring game. Luckily, the Bucs won, which I'm happy. We live in Tampa. But regardless, it could have been a better game.
Yeah, I saw one play where the quarterback for the Saints threw it directly to a Bucs player who tipped it up to himself and returned it for an interception for a touchdown, a pick six from like their own 1 or 2 yard line. He just kind of walked in the end zone from there. That was really bad. The Saints are really bad, but I'm looking all these blowouts. Okay, the Broncos killed the Cowboys. You sat through that ugly but luckily we're from Tampa. That's great. But I'm gonna look ahead a little bit because I wanna have enough time to talk about this one matchup. I'm hoping for a better set of games this week. And there's a couple that are projected to be blowouts. You have the Rams projected to win by 14 over the Saints. The Packers are predicted to win by 13 against the Panthers. The Chargers are favored by 9 at Tennessee, which is crazy to me. But we have the Kansas City Chiefs going to the Buffalo Bills. This is a matchup made in heaven here. Everyone wants to see this. Get your popcorn ready. Kansas City's 2 points favorites at Buffalo. Who do you got winning this game?
I'm going to give it to the Bills. Bills Nation is strong.
Bills Mafia, they circled the wagons.
Right. I mean, I think Kansas City had their time, but it's not this season. So that's my prediction. I'm betting on the Bills.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to me. The Kansas City Chiefs are favored by 2, and yet they're going to Buffalo to play. One reason that could be is Josh Allen seems to have a lot of success playing the Chiefs in the regular season. In the playoffs, not so much. We all know the story behind that one. So you have the Chiefs winning, but I have to know, of the 2 quarterbacks, let's drill a little deeper here. Of the 2 quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, who do you like more and why?
Oh, easy answer.
Easy answer.
Josh Allen, yeah.
Joshy-poo, okay.
Joshy-poo. I mean, not only is he a stand-up guy, he's a great quarterback, but he's also married to Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Stein. See, I don't know much about Haley Steinfeld. I know Mahomes is, Travis is Kelsey's girlfriend. Taylor Swift. Tell me about Haley. Who's this Haley?
I'm also Team Taylor too, but if we have to compare the quarterbacks, like white for white, Haley Steinfeld is just amazing. She is an accomplished actress. She's in many movies. One of my favorite, Pitch Perfect. She was in True Grit, that show. Sinners is her most recent. She's just a stand-up girl, and I think she makes Josh Allen a better guy.
Oh, hey now. And I think they recently got married. Don't ask how I know this. I think they're recently engaged last year. But yeah, a lot of romance in the air.
Yeah, if they're not married, I mean, we know it's coming. So she's just a great girl. I loved how he made her, or whoever did it. I used the sleeper app. She was actually for Halloween his profile picture.
Stop.
Yeah.
Wow. See, this is the stuff I would never know. You got the tea.
Did you know? Yeah, I got the tea. So, therefore, that's another reason I think the Bills are going to win, because of Haley Steinfeld.
Wow. Okay, so I'm a betting man. I do a lot of betting. I need the final score. What's the final score of this game going to be?
Oof. I got to think of a good score off the top of my head. Well, I mean, I do think the offenses are both going to be high scoring. What do you think?
No, absolutely.
I'd say it was probably going to be something similar to maybe how like the Giants versus Eagles game was last week. Yeah, I mean that was 38-20. So let's say like 30, 38.
Okay, yeah, 38-25. I like that. I think the Chiefs are really hitting their stride here. Buffalo's had some defensive issues. They looked good last week
Mhm.
because they blew out the Panthers. I mean, that doesn't say too
Just the
much about
Panthers,
them.
yeah.
But, the Chiefs, don't look now. Little scary for the rest of the league. They're coming into form. They're scoring at will. They
Mhm.
just beat the Commanders 28-7. Yikes.
Mhm.
So the Chiefs are back. Buffalo, prime matchup. That's going to be at 4:25 on Sunday. Looking forward to that one. Let's just hope overall it's a better week of football. Last week, all the blowouts. No one wanted to see that. Notice there's one game I didn't mention. That was the Bengals. The only game that wasn't a blowout happened to be the Bengals. They were up by 15 points, and they found a way to lose to the New York
Mhm.
winless Jets at the time. So that's why I'm sitting here locked up in a prison cell. If you're watching on YouTube, I am locked away. I took the straight jacket off just to film this here. So here we are. Hopefully, this coming week is better for the Bengals and for all the matchups to watch on TV. But let's move on to fourth down, and it's fourth and long. I want to play a little game with you. You tell me, well, let's talk about Halloween candy. All right. I'm going to say a player's name and what candy they remind me of, and you could do the same. You could come up with a player and a candy, or it could be a team and a candy, whatever. Let's do this. I'll start this one off. My favorite player is Joe Burrow, quarterback for the Bengals.
Mhm.
The candy I think of right off the bat, Bazooka bubblegum, right? Bazooka Joe, Bazooka bubblegum. But the thing is with Bazooka gum, it loses its taste really fast. Joe Burrow got hurt early this year. That's no fun. It was great while it lasted. Bazooka gum, Joe Burrow.
Turf toe. That's a good one.
Don't remind me. Not great.
Not great. No, that's a really clever one. I kind of went more broad category, and I don't mean to brag on the game again last week, Bucs versus Saints, but that game right away, I thought Butterfingers. So
Butterfingers.
I'm not gonna point fingers at one individual player. I'm just saying Butterfingers. So hopefully they'll do better this week.
I like that. I like it. That was a sloppy game. Every player, Butterfingers, spot on. I'm gonna stay on that similar bandwagon here and go to the Dolphins. When I think of the Miami Dolphins, I don't know. People probably watched that game last night. They played the Baltimore Ravens. They got their butts whipped. We're recording this on Friday, Halloween. The Dolphins. The candy that comes to mind, Milk Duds. My goodness
So,
gracious, the Miami Dolphins. No one could have seen this coming. I knew they would have a down year, but this is down, down, down. They only have, I think, 1 or 2 wins this year, and they're getting their butts with. They actually, breaking news, just fired their GM today. So the Miami Dolphins fired their GM. The coach is sticking around. The GM's gone. Maybe he had too many Milk Duds. Who do you got next?
the next one I have is Hot Tamale for Mr. Travis Kelsey.
Oh no, how'd I know this one was coming?
You give me the opportunity. I gotta pick a fiery candy for one of my favorite tight ends. And then the Chiefs are red. Taylor Swift, her old album was red. Now we're orange, but hey, it's both like a fiery color. Therefore, he's Hot Tamale.
Dang, you're really pulling this all together. The deep thought to come up with this. I am impressed here. Hot tamale, Travis Kelsey, the Chiefs. Man, maybe I should have gave that one to Joe Burrow, but I digress.
Mhm.
I got another one. We talked about the Chiefs a little bit, and as much as I hate to say it, the Chiefs are old dependable. They're always good. They can always come in a crunch. If someone has them or they're handing them out, you're never gonna say no. And that is to a Reese's cup. Everyone loves
Mm,
Reese's cups.
my
You're not gonna
favorite,
say no
yeah.
to it. They throw it in your bag. You'll have it later. No complaints. Sometimes it hits the spot. It's perfect, but it's always good. And that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Here they are again. Same old, different year. They're doing good. They're hitting their stride. Dependable.
Speaking of dependable, I got one more.
I'm excited to hear this one. I really am.
I don't think we've even touched on this team during the segment, but I gotta always give credit to Christian McCaffrey. He's an amazing player, very solid, reliable, all-around good player. Therefore, he's Mr. Goodbar.
Mr. Goodbar. That is perfect. Mr. Goodbar, Christian. You know, I'm never going to be able to look at any of these players and teams the same way anymore. I'm going to see Travis Kelce, Hot Tamale, you know, Mr. Goodbar, CMC. Love it. So I think...
Yeah, you had some good ones too.
Tonight, when I go Halloween trick-or-treating, and you know I am. You're never too old to go trick-or-treating for those out there. When I go trick-or-treating, I will be keeping all these in mind. I have one more, and this is actually one of my favorite candies, but in this sense, it might not be so great. So Sour Skittles is the candy, and you think about who could I give Sour Skittles to in the NFL? Well, last week, I had the champ on the show, on the podcast, and he is a Falcons fan. So this one's for him. I'm going to shout out Champ because the Atlanta Falcons, his team, Sour Skittles. I love Sour Skittles. Sometimes you get that yellow one that tastes really bad. I hate the yellow Skittle. I try and avoid that at all costs. But
even not sour.
Falcons, I think
Atlanta Falcons.
Up and down. Some games they win, some games they lose. Kirk Cousins was in. You're familiar with Kirk Cousins?
Relatively.
He made an appearance last week. Yes. Kirk Cousins, if you guys didn't know, Kirk Cousins went in the game, was the starting quarterback for the Falcons last week. The Falcons then continue to get their butts whipped by the Miami Dolphins, who we just mentioned are having a terrible season. So the Falcons, they do great one week, they do bad another week, up and down, roller coaster of emotions. I'm going to say Sour Skittles, and right now they're on the yellow Sour Skittle.
Ooh, the worst of the worst.
Man.
Well, hopefully they can get a better flavor this week.
Yes, for the champ's sake too, and for your Pittsburgh Steelers' sake. I mean, I really hope you guys turn it around again this week. You guys are playing the Colts. You know, before I let you go, we gotta. I need your prediction. Are the Steelers going to turn this around? It doesn't have to be a score. The Steelers, will they beat the Colts this week?
I knew you were going to ask me this question. I don't want to bet against my own team. I really don't. But DK Metcalf, who else do we have? I mean,
that
despite Rodgers, the defense has been good. Rodgers has been consistent, but we don't have, like, in my opinion, like a true standout. So it's really tough to tell, but the Colts do have some talent, and I'm going to say the Colts.
Oh man, I never thought I would see this day.
I'm betting against my own
fan admitting possible and evident defeat.
My family's gonna disown me.
No, that's not possible. I never count the Steelers out for one. I know they've been a little shaky. They've spent a lot of money on that defense, and they show really good signs at times. But Jalen Ramsey, Joey Porter Jr., they still haven't quite meshed. I know they have an injury at safety. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, yes, frightening. They're dealing with a lot. I never count them out. Colts, Chargers coming after that. Division that's not looking great. Pittsburgh Steelers, they could come out of there, and we could be seeing you at the Super Bowl. So I have a feeling we might have you back on live reporting from the Super Bowl, right?
I'll be there. You know me.
Oh, man. I appreciate that. Always dependable. Yes, Jess, we appreciate you being on the show with us here today. You are always welcomed. Make sure to get all those Halloween treats tonight, and we got to come up with some more names and some more candy to compare these players, because that was awesome. Thank you for
sure. That was a fun segment. Yeah, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Of course.
And I'll maybe see you tonight trick-or-treating.
Absolutely. You better believe it. I'll have 2 full bags. I'm sure of it. There's no shame in my game. I'll be a kid at heart forever. But you know the drill, folks. Thanks for joining us on this episode of First and 30. We'll see you on the next one. The next one is the best one.